Thank you for taking the time to join my webinar today. My name is Alex Timofeev. I work for Dassault Systems SolidWorks, and today I am going to give you a brief overview of the business intelligence capabilities on the 3DEXPERIENCE platform. But before we dive in, I'd like to quickly go over why this is important and what we'll cover. So in today's ever-evolving and very highly connected world, we have to deal with information overload. There is so much information and content being created and sent our way that most of us struggle with finding what really matters and what doesn't. So how can we find a more efficient way to communicate, connect, analyze, and share information? So the business intelligence capabilities of the 3DEXPERIENCE platform allow you to filter out all of the noise and find what really matters. So to put it into four main areas and the four key topics that we will be covering today, it's about gathering information and aggregating it, whether you're looking online, searching by keyword, or whether you're finding curated content for the industries that you work in. Then you're able to quickly filter. So you can find what matters and get rid of information that doesn't. You don't have to spend as much time crawling through the information and trying to find something that's irrelevant. You just get to exactly what matters. Then you're able to analyze it. You're able to see who is talking about your industry, about your brands and your products, and you're able to gain insights and identify various trends, identify competitors, identify locations, so that you can ultimately distribute that information, empower your teams, make data-driven decisions. So with that said, let's dive in. So to start off, today I want to show you how we use the business intelligence capabilities to keep track of a very important topic that has affected all of us, which is the COVID-19 virus. So let's take a look. Pretty cool, right? So this is a dashboard that I've built to stay informed about what's happening with the COVID-19 virus worldwide and its impacts on the industries that we serve. So I'll take you through each of the parts we're looking at on this dashboard and then summarize everything as well as a live demo. So first, we're able to track using a map view worldwide where there's content about the virus and how it's impacting various countries, states, and cities worldwide. So here we're looking at a map of Europe. We're able to hover over any of these data points and see which countries are being impacted. Italy is obviously one of the countries that's being impacted the most. If we drag over a little bit, we also see the impact to Spain. And we can zoom out and look at various other locations, continents worldwide. So we have China, South Korea, Japan, and as we zoom in, it breaks down by country and by region. Then we're able to see a trend line for these articles on a daily basis. So here, I'm just looking at the past few days, and we can see there's a huge spike. Now keep in mind that March 23rd was the day that I actually built this dashboard. So that's why there's an overall lower. It is a real-time data crawler. So as soon as you set up the NetVibes functionality, it starts to aggregate data and put it onto your dashboard, real time. So we see so far today we've have over 8,000 content pieces published that mention coronavirus or COVID-19. And then it'll grow over by the end of the day, we'll see another huge spike. Then looking over here on this red chart, we can see which websites, which content sources are actively talking about the COVID-19 virus. And if we want to filter it down to keywords, we can see coronavirus is obviously the top keyword or theme that's affecting this topic. Then we have corona, some of the countries that have been most impacted by it, pandemic, and many others. Also on our dashboard, we're able to aggregate information from other sources. So here we have an example of the Johns Hopkins Coronavirus Resource Center, where we're able to pull in all of their information directly into our dashboard and see real-time updates that basically are counting all of the cases occurring today, as well as deaths recovered and the overall statistics. Now we actually want to read the various articles about this topic. So here we see all of the news articles about the COVID-19 virus, and at any time we can simply click in and then read the article. And if we want to go directly to the source, we just click on the title and it'll take us directly to the New York Times so we can see this article. We're able to add our opinions and then share with the rest of the team. Now, to see the industry impact and how it's affecting, if I scroll down a little bit on my dashboard, here is an example of a trend line over the past 60 days covering the three key industries that we as Dassault serve, which is transportation and mobility, aerospace and defense, and high tech. So here we see a trend that back at the end of January, COVID-19 and coronavirus were not really something that was impacting the industries at first, but then we see a gradual increase at the end of February, and it's been spiking ever since then. One other insight that we see is that aerospace and defense, which started out as one of the biggest industries that was impacted, has also seen a high growth in transportation mobility and high tech being impacted over the past 10 days. Now we see a slight downward climb, which we can potentially perceive as being related to the stimulus package that is being passed by US Congress to stimulate our economy. So in a simple dashboard, going back to the top, we can see where people are talking about this topic of COVID-19. We can see how frequently, we can see the various keywords associated to it. We're able to aggregate outside information, such as from Johns Hopkins. We're able to see the latest news real time, and then we're able to see how that impacts our industry and our customers. So, how hard is it to build a dashboard like this? Not very. Let's do it live together. So, let's take an example of a small manufacturer or company that's being asked to produce ventilators. Obviously, ventilator is a life-saving piece of equipment for many patients who suffer from the virus. So many manufacturing plants, including automotive, industrial equipment, are switching their production lines to manufacture ventilators. So how can we get news and updates about ventilators design and share with our teams? So by opening up our task pane and finding the correct widget, in this case, we want to use the track topic. We drag and drop it onto our dashboard. And then we take content. So because we're talking about ventilators, that is going to come from our life sciences and specifically in medical devices. So by simply searching for life sciences, we have access to various content sources for medical devices. So in this case, I'll choose all three. There's three types of content sources available for each of the industries. We can also search through medical devices. So corporate, influencers, and specialized medias. As soon as we've chosen the libraries that are relevant to us, hit apply. And now we instantly have access to 45,000 different articles in the medical device industry. But we're looking for something very, very specific, which is ventilators. So we want to add a topic. Hit apply. And now our search results have narrowed to 181 articles that cover ventilators in the medical device industry. So we'll save that. So now we have live updates about ventilators, and we can always read these articles and share with others. But now we want to add some analytics as well. So going through that same setup process, we'll take a different widget, drag and drop it into our dashboard. Configure through that same process by finding the libraries that matter to us. All right, and one more. Then we filter down by the topic that's specifically interesting to us, which is ventilator. And here at the bottom, we see the various options that are available to us, the various types of analytics. So in this case, we want to see a trend and see if more companies and more organizations are researching ventilators and how we can get involved. So we'll click the What is Said filter, and it automatically generates a trend line looking at our medical device libraries for ventilators over the past 90 days. Now, in our case, we want to filter this down a little bit. So we just want to look at the past week, for example, so the past 7 days. Now we also want to see what keywords are applicable to this. So to save us some setup time, we'll just duplicate this particular widget, drag it down to make our dashboard nice and organized. And anything can be resized and customized very easily. And now we'll look at the keywords that are related to ventilator. Now, we see a large amount of very different keywords like coronavirus, pandemic, United States of America, which is a location. So we want to actually filter down to the themes that apply to ventilators. So here we see the different types of options that are available to us. We basically remove anything that's not relevant and just keep themes. Hit save. And now we see that in relation to ventilator, we also coronavirus, pandemic, Ebola is mentioned, mechanical ventilation, and personal protective equipment. So for any of these topics, we also want to be able to share this directly with our team, and we can do that using another widget. So doing our same drag and drop. So we first select an ingredient. In this case, we want to get all of the updates whenever there is a new article about ventilators. And we can customize this as much as we want if we're looking at specific information. If we're looking at specific authors, we can filter it as much as we'd like. But in this case, we'll keep it simple. And I want to get an email. So in this case, it's going to send an email. Because I'm creating the potion, I'm automatically the recipient, but you can add as many additional people as you like, so your entire team or your entire organization. We want to make sure that everyone is aware of what this is. So ventilator updates, hit save. And in this case, I also want to use 3D Swim, which is our internal collaboration and communication tool. I want to create a post. It's going to go directly to the community that I have with my team in our project. We also want to make sure everyone knows that it's ventilator updates, and we hit save. So now, give our potion name. So now the team is automatically notified without ever having to go into my dashboard or check the research that I've done about any ventilator updates. And if there's anything specific to keywords, they can always filter down just like I've done and make better ventilators so that manufacturing can kick off at a large scale. Now, let's look at a practical example of how we're doing market research at SOLIDWORKS using the same technology. So jumping over into the market research tab on my dashboard. Here, I've created a track topic that looks at all mentions of SOLIDWORKS in the industrial equipment libraries. So we can see there's hundreds of different articles that we can read through, we can extract the keywords from and find out what's happening and how our customers and our partners are using SOLIDWORKS. And we can take it a step further. So looking in the industrial equipment libraries for manufacturing, which is the main topic that we focus on, we can see which organizations are being talked about the most. So with what's going on with the COVID-19 virus, stocks are obviously something that worries a lot of people. A lot of organizations are worried about share prices going up and down. So NYSE, Securities Exchange Commission, NASDAQ, FDA are very often being discussed in the manufacturing sector. But then we start seeing results like Stratasys, which is a 3D printing company, Google, YouTube, and many others. And we can filter this down as much as we'd like to see which companies are at the forefront of manufacturing during these times. Additionally, we can look at what themes keep resonating within this industry. So 3D printing, since a lot of companies are 3D printing masks, ventilators today, automation, engineering, artificial intelligence, and many other themes. And we can also see in which countries. In this case, instead of a map view, we're just looking at a list of countries where manufacturing is being actively discussed. So to actually apply this to our software and to our product development processes, we can take the artificial intelligence theme and start digging into it. So I've done that below by simply clicking and then clicking read articles. You can generate a new track topic for the artificial intelligence in manufacturing theme. So just to save a little bit of time, I've done that in advance. So now we see all of the articles that talk about robotics, AI, and manufacturing. We can see the overall trend. And of course, with the COVID-19 virus, that's been impacted perhaps negatively for the time being, as fewer companies may have the resources to invest in AI. So we see the trends. We can see what themes constantly come up. So automation, machine learning, and cloud computing, which are key to develop AI in manufacturing. We can see the different sources. So PR News, Robotics Tomorrow, and then a few other authors. And we can even dig into the various countries. So as an example, we'll take China here by simply clicking on this data point and then clicking read articles. We're able to see what's going on with manufacturing and AI in China and how we can apply ourselves by reading these various articles, reports, and publications. And then we can, using the potion that I just showed you, we can export this to our entire team. All right. And one last example that I'd like to share with you is how we can do a competitive analysis using this technology. So let me jump into the next tab I have. So I'm a huge car enthusiast. I used to have a Toyota. Now I have two Fords in my garage. But here we're able to compare these two huge auto OEMs side by side. So we can see all of the articles that are talking about Toyota and get the latest updates. So as an example, Toyota just extended the shutdown of their manufacturing facilities till April 17th in North America. We can see someone made a very crazy wind tunnel version of a Ford F-250. Looks pretty interesting. But from a more practical standpoint, we can see how these two companies compare on a daily basis over the past 90 days in this example, which company is being talked about more often, which company has a bigger online presence, and which company is publishing more content. So we can see the other day Ford had 113 compared to Toyota, which had less than half. And we can always click on any of these data points and dig in. Oh, and you notice it is updated live, so it's just another update. It constantly does that throughout the day. We can see, compare how each company is doing from an online brand presence. So we can see, for example, on Twitter, Ford has over 1,000 tweets over the past 90 days compared to Toyota, which has a little under 700. Now, one of the coolest things that I always like to show is how we can see the perception, the emotional analysis between these brands and the content that's published about them. So for example, we see the perception of Toyota is a little under 59%, and then we can compare it directly to another brand, Ford in this case, which is at 56% positive. Further, we can look at the competition for each of these manufacturers. So we can see that they compete with each other very highly, so Toyota and Ford in parallel. And then number two for both of them is BMW, then Hyundai, and many others. And a good example we can see is that General Motors ranks very highly as a competitor for Ford, but for Toyota, it's lower down at roughly number 10. And then we can map all of this out. So if we look at Toyota or Ford and by location, if we zoom all the way out, we have our global map, but we want to look at specifically Germany, which is home to BMW, Mercedes, Audi, all the big German manufacturers. And then we can start reading all of the articles published in Germany about these various OEMs in the automotive space. All right. So with all of that said, I've covered a lot today. But to come back to where we started, we looked at how we can aggregate content. We can quickly and easily filter it then we can actually start gaining insights from it, whether by source, by topic, by keyword, or by brand, and see a lot of insights into each of the aspects of the company. And then we can automatically distribute everything, whether we post it into an email, we get a text message so that we're always in the loop, or we post it into a swim community. And it's very easy to share content. So thank you for your time. If you would like to learn more, please feel free to give us a call here at SolidWorks. We have a phone number set up, 603-570-4383. Also check out solidworks.com/netvibes. And if you have any specific questions, please feel free to shoot me an email, alex.timofeev@3ds.com. Thank you very much for your time. I hope you stay healthy. I hope you have a wonderful day and have a wonderful evening. Thank you and goodbye.